There it is. Hey guys, how you doing? It's your man Tim Black, and you're welcome to another edition of No Sellouts with my friend Goodman in the house, y'all. Give it up for H.A.
Tim Black. Well, you know, can I tell you something, Tim?
What up, brother?
Every time during the week that like WikiLeaks comes out with like Wall Street transcripts or journalists giving, I'm thinking, I gotta tell Tim Black next Monday. I gotta go talk about this to Tim Black, because can you believe it, Tim? Can you believe this? Can you believe this?
Dude, it's unfreaking believable, man. The stuff that's coming out, man. We are more than vindicated, man. We are exonerated, vindicated, celebrated.
Yeah.
Man, whatever, man.
Whatever, yeah.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And, you know, I got to read you this. And I feel this is how bad it is, Tim. After everything you and I have gone through with the media and with haters and everything, this is how bad it is. I feel bad for this dude. This is how bad. I'm going to read this right now. I feel bad. So you would think I would be like, yeah. But I actually feel bad. I'm not even going to say his name. If I hope that everybody listening right now reads the email, but this is an email from Politico, from John Podesta and a Politico reporter. Okay, so no, a Politico reporter. Okay, no worries, because I have become a hack, I will send you the whole section that pertains to you. Please don't share or tell anyone I did this.
Oh, God.
Tell me if I fucked up anything.
Oh, God.
This is like insane.
Oh, man. This is.
And then what's really funny is one article. This is the title. Politico reporter sends story to Hillary aide for approval, admits he's a hack. So it's like, I mean, you can't make this up. Like,
game over, H.A. Game over. Match set.
Match set, game set. You know,
yeah.
I just, you know what, and you know what they're saying now, Tim? This is even funnier. So it's not just we got a good laugh from this. Do you want to know what these people are saying now? They're saying, you don't know journalism. That's what happens. That's what happens in journalism, and it's not. It's totally not supposed to happen. I mean, this is like the type of thing where, do you think Bernie or Trump are getting articles? Hey, Donald. Hey, Bernie. Let us know. Can you imagine? Hey, Bernie, we're gonna write about how you're a socialist. Read about this. Read this article and see if it's okay. They are so in the pocket of everybody. It's insane.
Unbelievable. You know they're not vetting stories with the Bernie Sanders campaign or the former Bernie Sanders campaign or the Trump campaign. And what's killing me is that, you know, all this time we hear a lot of talk about, you know, from right-wing people like Sarah Palin and what have you, they would complain about mainstream media. And I used to be like, get out of here, Sarah. You just, you know, you're dim-witted. You don't know what you're talking about. You're looking for a scapegoat. And it's like, okay, she may be dim-witted and a lot of other things, but she had a point.
She had a point. And you know what's funny? It's like the conservative media, it's like now progressives, or what, like we say, whatever that word means now, people who don't want to be cheated. The only people we're talking, a lot of the times, people who are talking about issues like WikiLeaks and the emails, there were a lot of conservative sites talking about that. Right. The progressive sites wouldn't. And it's like everything. Oh, I have to read you this really quickly. Vox, who's like, basically, if you want a state-run media, it's either Vox or the New York Times or the Washington Post. Basically like state-run. Like they just go ahead. It's gone beyond public relations firms, Tim. It's beyond PR. Now it's state-run. From the White House to, this is today. This is after CNN host said it's illegal to read WikiLeaks. Did you remember? You hear that?
Chris Cuomo.
It's illegal. Yeah. So you and I are engaging, and everybody listening, engaging in illegal activity. And so Vox today wrote, Russia has weaponized the American press.
You know what? That right there is sensationalism and a lie. So, like, that's where you should make your videos, sir. Like, don't call out H.A. Goodman and Tim Black saying that we sensationalize. Look at what Vox is doing. But you don't want to do that, right? You go for the low-hanging fruit. Go at the independent media and call them sensationalists because we're talking about what is obviously true.
Obviously true. It's obviously true. And that's the thing, I can't stop. One guy at Vox, he tweeted, he said, Tim, this is almost verbatim. He said, there's basically nothing wrong with having a public and private position. And how do you know that the private position is the real one? And I'm thinking to myself, well, let's see. How much money do you think she's getting, Hillary, to tell the private position to people who pay her hundreds of millions of dollars through the foundation for speeches? So, I mean, it's just any politician. Who's a politician going to tell the truth to? Someone saying, here's 100 million, or just an average person voting?
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, this is so damaging, AJ, because we want to believe that our politicians, at least the ones that we want to believe in, the ones that we want to trust, that we choose, we would like to believe that they're being honest. Because when it comes to private and personal positions or public positions, we believe, it's just human nature. What you believe at the core of you, if you are a regular human being with integrity, ethics, that's what you'll fight for. You'll fight for the things that you really believe. And the other things are things you may submit them, like this may be a good idea, but when you go to war for it, when you fight tooth and nail for issues that aren't really at the core of you. So that's the importance of why people are concerned when we find out that you have two sides of the fence. And now that explains also with Hillary, why so much flip-flopping.
Why so much flip-flopping, exactly, 100%. And also, one interesting thing, without Black and Latino voters, Hillary Clinton is nothing, like absolutely nothing. The Democratic Party is nothing, okay? In one of the emails, I actually did a segment on this. In one of the emails, they did a focus group. Check this out, Tim. They did a focus group on Black millennials to find out what was important to Black millennials. And it was basically like things important to everybody. The economy stinks. There's no future, hope for the future, all that stuff. And other things. And I'm thinking to myself, they need a focus group. They can't speak to Black Lives Matter activists or Tim Black or the Congressional Black Caucus.
No, they can't talk to us. We might tell the truth. You remember the emails, right? Like, don't speak to more than a couple of these guys. We can't have you talking to a bunch of Black Lives Matter activists, actually giving them, concrete policy ideas. Oh, no. Just, privately, one or two of them, real quick, just, listen, but don't offer any constructive advice.
It's unbelievable. And I'm thinking to myself, you got to get a focus group. You don't know the issues already. You don't know the issues. Your whole campaign is reliant upon people of color. And not only that, Black and Latino voters going out in large numbers like Obama, 2008 and 2012. And right now she knows that. So if you notice, she doesn't talk about any issues important to Black voters or Latino or anything right now. That was during the primaries. Now she's just, Trump touched somebody. This is Trump. And it's always somebody said something about Trump and Trump, we heard Trump called someone fat or ugly. And meanwhile, she wants regime change in Syria that were like, World War III is like Syria. She's like, you know what? Let's pick a fight with the Russians, the Chinese. That was another one. And Trump called someone ugly. And I don't like Trump. I mean, he's an idiot. But the thing is, it's like, I just feel he's less dangerous than Hillary Clinton because, when you have the media in your pocket, it's like unlimited power. You can get away with almost anything.
Yeah. Anything you do is going to be swept under the rug. I mean, and you're absolutely right. That's a very good point, H.A. When you have the media in your pockets, you get away with murder. Because without the media, we can't shame you. Yeah. And anybody who contradicts you, anyone who has an issue with any of your policies, your mainstream media attack dogs are going to call them crazy, deranged,
Yeah.
terrorist, sensationalist, and all of this other stuff, right? So that's sort of like her firewall was not the South. Her firewall is the media.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Her firewall is the media, and it's unbelievable because there's no shame with them. They have no shame. So it's like WikiLeaks is coming out with Wall Street transcripts that say she's telling the wealthiest people on the planet, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I have a public and private face. Meanwhile, like Tim Black and H.A. Goodman are like, what? This is crazy. What's going on here? New York Times is like, that's fine. That's just business as usual. Yeah. And it's like, okay, they're coming out with journalists, not just Politico. That was Politico. New York Times journalists, Bloomberg, Politico, actually sending them articles to edit. The voters read this stuff. America reads this stuff. These are the three of the biggest publications. Well, New York Times. But the thing is, when they talk about a rigged election, people say, oh, it's not rigged. It's completely rigged.
Completely.
Because it's completely. And what's happening to Trump, like, even though he lends himself to, like, he says stupid things, whatever, they focus. I mean, first they hit Bernie. They hurt Bernie. They kicked him out of the way. And the Washington Post did this, Newsweek did this. But now with Trump, it's like, okay, nobody knows Hillary's post-Assad plan. So she wants to remove Assad from Syria. She doesn't explain how that's going to happen, and she doesn't explain if it's going to turn out like Libya or Iraq.
Right.
But Donald Trump tweets at 3 a.m. Oh my God, Tim, everybody is talking about it. He should be sleeping like Hillary at 3 a.m.
That's right.
And
he's unfit. He's unfit. He was up at 3 a.m., which is the same thing she said, Obama, you didn't want him at 3 a.m. in the morning. What is she doing at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Exactly.
Sleeping in her coffin.
Yeah.
Whatever vampires do, that's probably what she's doing. Yeah, upside down. There you go.
Yeah.
Hanging from her toenails or something.
but
it's horrible, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's that was good. No, I mean, the thing is, like, it's unbelievable. We also find out that she's talking about ringing China with missiles, the missile defense system. So she wants to, basically, we have a confrontation with China in the South China Sea, okay? And now we have a confrontation with Russia in Syria. So before Hillary is even given the keys to the White House to become the most powerful person in the world, she officially cheated Bernie Sanders. She had an FBI criminal investigation, Tim. In every one of my episodes on my channel, I say this. The FBI literally believed Hillary when she said that Bill Clinton's aides mailed a laptop in the mail, shipped it, with 4 years of her emails. And she believed it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They believed it.
They believed it.
So you got cheating Bernie, FBI cover-up. You got WikiLeaks. Now she's picking a fight with Russia. She's blaming Russia. And now she got President Obama to basically threaten Russia, saying, we are going to respond and retaliate. And I'm thinking to myself, is it really worth it to respond because Hillary is so corrupt?
Yes, it is. She's a part of the establishment. They got to keep the establishment running, and that's his endeavor. I mean, come on, man. Michelle Obama as well, out there stumping for Hillary. They all work for the same people, which is big money interests. You know what I'm saying? So they have to continue that long line of, sucking up to the corporations, sucking up to Wall Street. That's what they're going to do. I remember when Obama was talking, he was knocking Hillary for taking money from Wall Street, and then he went in and took money from Wall Street.
Yep.
They're all in the same pockets, man, like you said earlier.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I keep on, like, in the back of my mind, hold out hope that maybe Obama remembers what Hillary did, the 3 a.m. ad, or like spreading out the photo. Oh, and we find out that they poll tested. They actually, they love focus groups. So everything is just like whatever the research for marketing and advertising.
Right.
Not, fixing things for the American public. Just in January of 2008, this was in the beginning of the primary, where nobody thought, they thought Hillary was the front runner, okay? Right. They poll tested Obama, like, what do voters or what do people think of Obama's cocaine use as a teenager, and his father's Muslim heritage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they poll tested basically, what do people think about that to use? Hey, what can we get away with?
Right.
What's too much?
And my theory is once they found out that it would be too much of a blowback on it within the voters of the Democratic Party, which were, like you said, African-American and Latino, which they need to win, I feel that they passed that information over to the Republicans. And that's how Trump ended up with it. That's what Trump's campaign says. You know, hey, you're the ones that told us to look into this stuff. You're the ones who said, you know, look at his heritage. You know, hey, maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no.
Have you looked at the FBI documents, HA, any of the FBI, the 100-page document they released today? There's a part in there, man, that I know you're going to love. There's a part in those documents, brother, where they are discussing, brother, how Hillary, what they did was, you're not going to believe it, they looked at documents that Hillary had on their private server, and they were classified. They declassified the documents retroactively during the investigation.
That was the Benghazi email, right?
Dude, all I know, what? I don't know which documents it was, but that's the first time I heard that they would take a classified document and unclassify it during the criminal investigation.
Unbelievable. I think that this is, so many cover-ups, there's so much shady activity that I don't know which one is which, but I think what you're talking about, or maybe it's completely different, but they, you might be telling me something that's completely different, but what they did, it was earlier this morning I read that Patrick Kennedy of the State Department.
Right, that's him, yes.
Okay, so he called up an FBI agent and said, hey, change this classification. And it's unbelievable. It must be nice, huh, Tim? It must be nice.
Dude.
Must be nice. Must be nice to call up the FBI.
I know Chelsea Manning wishes they would do that for her.
Oh, my God.
You know, I'm sure she would love it. She's looking at, 35 years, right?
35 years, but check this out. Hillary gets to call up the FBI and change classifications. Chelsea Manning tried to commit suicide, and she was punished with like more jail time. They punished her for actually trying to commit suicide because life is such a hell in the prison for her. But it's just, we live in a world right now. It's like, it really is like a dystopian movie. It's like you can't even believe it. And people are like, the worst part, and we always knew this, Tim, is that the Hillary supporters don't care. So they don't care. They don't care about anything. They just want to win.
That's it. But you know what I'm noticing as well, HA, to your point? I think some of the campaign members of the Clinton campaign people, some of them know what we know. Like, they keep it real. It's like Hillary's like, there's no charisma, there's no message. You need to get your crap together. You suck. Like, they're really like having conversations that are very candid. They're like, Hillary's taking all this private money. This is going to be doomsday if this comes to light. And they're just talking amongst themselves, saying, so some of the campaign emails are really, they show me that at least the campaign wasn't all delusional. Like, they know what's going on. Now, some of it is horrible. Like, did you see the one email with they referred to Jake Tapper as a dick? Did you see that one?
Yeah, that was good.
He had to go. He was on a radio program, and they asked him about it. And he's like, well, I don't know what to say. I guess it's funny to hear what people really think about you when your back's turned. They really tell you how they feel. It's just horrible. And for the only way out is Russia, or if this is just normal. Like, it's normal for political campaigns to be given advice or take advice from journalists who are supposed to be unbiased and cover them. And it's normal for public people like Donna Brazile, who has sway in the media, to give you answers, to give you questions ahead of time. And that's just normal. This is just regular stuff. And it makes me think, if this is regular stuff, I mean, goodness gracious, what would it take for them to actually admit that this is wrong? Like, what would have to be in the documents? Like, the bodies are buried, behind the White House in a dumpster in Anacostia River, or
trust me, Vox would say that's very good. It's very good, no problem. New York Times would say it's just a couple people who got killed, no problem.
Yeah, sometimes you got to kill people for the, what you got to do.
You got to, it happened. The Genghis Khan did it. It happened. But you know what? The thing with the only thing to answer your question, unfortunately, the only way, Tim, the only way for them to realize they're wrong is to lose to Trump. It's the only way.
Booyah!
It's the only way.
I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah, it's the only way. And you know what? They've rigged it to where it's almost, there's like a maybe 10% chance that he could win. But one thing about the Russia issue, they blame Russia, and it's such a convenient excuse, which makes no sense at all. But let's just play it out. Even if it's Russia feeding, first of all, it's not. It's most likely a mole within the Clinton campaign, or it has to be. You can't. There's a lot of emails there, and you can't.
Over 15,000 so far have been released.
Yeah, and we have a total of 50,000 plus all the other hacks and everything. So you have people in there trying to warn the American public, almost certainly. Maybe there's Russian hackers, or maybe other hackers, Chinese, whatever. But there's not. First of all, it's not only Russia that's trying to hack us. Chinese, China, Iran, other countries too.
Right.
But have you ever heard the New York Times or Vox or Washington Post or Daily Beast? Have you ever heard them say, "Good Lord, we have a lot of corruption in the Democratic Party. Maybe we should fix it"?
Never.
No, never.
Everything's good here. You should see the Republicans there. Now that's really corruption. No, but we're talking about this. But no, let's not talk about this. Let's talk about that over there. It's all misdirection and deflection from coming out of the Clinton campaign.
All misdirection and deflection. But I'll say this: I don't like conservative stances on a whole lot of things. But I will say something: Republicans at this moment, their party is less corrupt than the Democratic Party. And I'll tell you why.
Wow. Republican
establishment hates Trump.
Yeah.
They hate Trump, and he won. So he won. And you don't see the Republicans making sure he doesn't win. You don't see the Republicans like getting Jeb Bush and kind of anointing him and saying, "Oh yeah, Jeb Bush won. He really won." No. That's what Debbie Wasserman Schultz did.
Excellent.
That's what Debbie Wasserman did. So they're less corrupt. We are actually now the standard bearers of corruption.
Wow. You're right. So, look, hold up. Stay right there, man. That right there is an eye-opening statement, brother. They did not like Trump. They did not want Trump. Nobody wanted Trump on the Republican side. Like, they were all, he's evil, get rid of him. And they didn't destroy him. At least if they did, I don't see, they were very ineffective. But the Clinton campaign definitely was, hey, they had all the horses were loaded. You know what I mean? Against Bernie Sanders. And if you look at it, it's like, wow, you know what? All this time, all these Democrats are looking at the Republicans. When I say Democrats, I mean the voters. I mean regular folks. They're looking at the Republicans and thinking that's the boogeyman. But you know what? Maybe the boogeyman is right beside you. Maybe you're amongst the boogeyman and you're just not seeing it because that mainstream media tool is lying to you time in and day out, feeding you lies, manipulating you. And that's the thing, Trump is a horrible candidate, but I want to say this, AJ, before we go on, because I will forget. Here's the bottom line, because somebody was like, Tim, I mentioned Alex Jones today, and somebody's like, Tim, you don't mention Alex Jones in your video. I'm like, hey, guys out there, I'm not an Alex Jones fan, but when you're right, you're right. And when he says some things about Hillary, he's right about some things.
Absolutely.
Listen, the enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Absolutely.
Get with it, sir.
Absolutely.
We got the same interest here. I think Hillary, look, it's not just that I hate Hillary. I don't hate her. Like you say, HA's like, Tim, we don't hate her. We just dislike her. And you're right. HA's a good, upstanding young man. And he's like, but he's right. But you know what? I firmly believe that she will usher in World War III and kill millions of people. She's going to kill children. And you know what? I got to fight against that. Now, if you're too sensitive, or if your focus is still on this blue crap and you don't just see people as people, then we're going to have a problem, because I'm trying to stop people from being destroyed in their beds while they sleep by a woman who's a war hawk, a warmonger. So that's my mission. Your mission may be something else. I don't know what it is, but keep that over there. Me, I will join forces with anyone who will expose truth.
100%. And let me tell you something. You're 100% right. Anyone who tells you that, because you mentioned, what's the name? Alex Jones. First of all, if you say he's right about some things, he is right about some things. Secondly, if you mention Alex Jones, the Hillary bots, the Hillary supporters will say, "How dare you?"
That's
but then
yes.
if you mention the fact that George H.W. Bush is voting for Hillary, Robert Kagan and all the neoconservatives are voting for Hillary, the same people who advised George W. Bush. Mm-hmm. They're so proud now that a lot of people, a lot of conservatives are supposedly voting for Hillary. That's cool. That's cool for them. The actual Republicans who completely messed up the whole world, they're fine with that. But if Tim Black mentions Alex Jones, no. Can't do it.
Don't do that now. Now you've gone too far, Tim Black. You said his name. You in a 15-minute video, you said his name one time. You've gone too far, sir. That's beyond the pale. But meanwhile, Hillary's like, hey, Republicans like me. I'm beautiful. This is the way to go. This is beautiful. And you know what? The Clintons did the same crap back in the 90s. It's the same plan, brother. They did the same thing to appeal to Republicans. They threw black and brown people under the bus, right? Yeah. They threw your jobs, poor people, working class Americans, you guys, all of us are working class Americans. They threw our jobs under the bus. This is the same thing, moving to the right, meanwhile destroying the middle class and hurting Latinos and black folks. It's the same thing playing all over again. And I'm trying to wake people up and let them realize, look, ain't nothing changed, baby. It's the same game plan. It's just got an update. It's got a little dab in it. But it's the same thing, man. It's no Ellen. It's a dab on it. It's still the same thing. I don't care if she sits with Zach Galifianakis with a firm. She's still horrible. She was pretty good on that show, though. She was pretty funny. She was pretty good.
I gotta tell you, she was pretty good. I like the Between Two Ferns things, but you know what? I have an expression. The hot sauce isn't working. So the hot sauce wasn't working with her, Tim. So they had to do the shimmy, okay? And then that people realized that was completely fabricated, and she was in the mirror like 1,000 times going like this, see if it worked.
Dude, it's like, okay, to me, that shimmy was nothing. They wrote about that like that was majestic. Like that was, you know what I mean? Like that was like, oh my God, really what it is her scale is different, okay? For me to have a good show, I have to like pull out all the bells and whistles and be phenomenal. For her to have a good appearance on TV, she just has to have a pulse. Yeah. Her voice doesn't, as long as her voice doesn't hurt your eardrums with that, they go, wow, she is a person. She has a personality. So it's like the bar is really low, and they wrote about that, man, like it was a love story. I think you were talking about that. It was
like a romance novel. And also the thing is, you're right, and you're 100% right. And there's something that you said, and I'm going to bring up 2 points.
Get them, H.A.
Number one, how many times have we heard from Hillary Clinton in the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks, anything regarding the killing of unarmed black citizens?
Dude, I think they stopped killing black people. Did they?
That's my point.
It's all good. Racism's all solved. It's all done. We're good.
That's.
I mean, I can get up and leave now, H.A. It's all over, man. I'm out of a job. There's no more police brutality. Because she hasn't mentioned it, obviously.
She hasn't mentioned it.
Mainstream media hasn't been covering. I guess no one's gone to jail. No one's civil rights have been violated in the last week or so.
I say this, God forbid, I say this horrible. It has to be, God forbid, another killing. Somebody has to be killed for them to even think of maybe getting a research group, testing it out, and then maybe talking about it. And my thing is, number one, so how many times in the past month, it's only getting the female vote. Because there's no enthusiasm for Hillary.
Right.
So the campaign knows that a lot of black people and a lot of Latino voters are not going to really go out to vote for Hillary. So now they're like, what do we do? Trump touched these women. Trump is an ogre. So they're only going for that. And so that's the only thing is a scare tactic. And then you said something 100% correct. This is not hyperbole. It's not crazy. It's not a conspiracy theory. We are Mikhail Gorbachev, former Soviet leader, Mikhail Gorbachev, actually in the Telegraph, the UK Telegraph, a big paper in the United Kingdom, stated, "We are at a dangerous point right now. We are at one of the most dangerous points since the Cuban Missile Crisis or since the Cold War." And he said, basically, we need to reset with Russia. With Russia, the U.S. needs a reset, or we're going to head to something really bad. He actually said we're at a dangerous point. She wants a no-fly zone in Syria with Russian jets above. So I'm thinking she's like out of her mind. And the people who say, well, you know, it's okay because, you know, the Russians will know. No, the Russians also, like, if they want to bomb something and it's within our zone, they might go and they might do it. And they might be, you know what, we'll call your bluff.
Right.
And so the thing is, it's like, you already have a situation before she's even in power that the whole world's collapsing. Like the whole world is like all jacked up, messed up, and she's not even in power. So you're I'm telling you for real, 100%, you are not out of bounds to say that World War III is a fear. World War III is an actual big. Oh, by the way, so there's something I did research on this. I wrote about this also. There's something called a no first use policy. So like China, for example, has a no first use policy, meaning that, you know, they're not going to nuke anyone, but don't mess with them. Because if you mess with them, they'll nuke you. Okay?
Right.
Russia dropped its no first use policy in 1993. So all throughout the Cold War, their thing was, we're not going to attack you first, but if you attack us, we'll attack you. They dropped that policy to where technically, and they've had like some like kind of hawkish generals in Russia talk about this. They reserve the right to launch nuclear weapons on anyone. So it's like no joke now. And also we also technically have no first use. So when Trump, like whatever he said, actually it's the way the British also, the UK, United Kingdom, they don't have first use. So they reserve the right, the US reserves the right to launch whenever we want. And when you have a situation, let's say, for example, Russia shoots down one of our jets by accident. Let's say, for example, you know, there's a dogfight between a Russian jet and an American jet, okay? Or something takes place. This actually did happen, Tim. Russia bombed a base that Special Forces American and British troops were using. Luckily, there was nobody there. This was about 2 months ago. So what if 30 Americans were there? What if 2 Americans were there?
Wow.
So, or British, you know? Yeah. So anybody says to you something about Alex Jones, you know what? If somebody's right, like you said, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If somebody, as if the progressives, quote unquote, as if they're on our side anyway, they're not. Those publications, the Daily Beast, they're not on our side. Yeah. They're on Hillary's side. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can't go distancing yourself from everyone. Like, we need numbers. So like originally, like folks on Twitter, for instance, right, who were like deplorables. I was like, I don't want to be these like they put deplorable in their name. I was like, oh God.
Oh yeah, no, I'm cool. Yeah.
But I stopped. Like I said, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about that anymore. You know what? Because I know that we have something in common, which is more to say for those people who write me like, oh my God, Tim. Like I had a conversation with someone who was talking about they were going to vote for Trump or vote for Hillary, or they were talking about this convoluted thing. I don't even want to bring up the name of it, but there was this scheme to get Bernie, right in Bernie and all this stuff. And don't get me wrong. Originally, I'm Bernie or bust. And I was like, hey, you know, Bernie or bust. I'll write him in. But now that Bernie's out campaigning for Hillary, I couldn't foresee that.
No.
He's going on programs. He's leading rallies. He's, you know, like now I'm like, you know what? At the Bernie or bust rally, I said, you know, I've gone to jail. I think that we need a green party. We need a third party. So that's where my support lies. And I said in the tweet, HA, I said, look, okay, look, you're free to do whatever you want to do. If you think writing in Bernie's the way to go, just know this. We need another party. We need more options. And if Hillary's in there and she bombs some kids, your little scheme doesn't work, then what? We got nothing. And know what? That's not going to be on me because I'm trying to broaden this discussion. I'm trying to bring in more candidates. And somebody's like, oh, Tim, I can't believe you resorted to being a Hill bot, using Hill bot scare tactics. It's not a scare tactic to say that Hillary could bring us into World War III. That is a possibility. People.
It's not a scare it's not a scare tactic at all. It's 100% realistic and very valid. And Tim, you're 100% right, because the thing is, you're dealing with facts. The facts are already that she made President Obama. And this is my thing. I know President Obama didn't go 8 years in office. He's far too knowledgeable or intelligent to just decide on his own, yeah, I want to go ahead and I want to leave the presidency and threaten Russia with retaliation.
Yeah.
Hillary got him to do that. And so we're already...
But you know what? I don't think it was Hillary, HA. I think it was their true masters. Like, you need to support Hillary every way straight, every way that you can, Yep. I like Michelle Obama. I have to, because she's the first African-American lady. She's articulate, she's personable, all those things, right? But you can't tell me, Michelle Obama, that you actually admire Hillary. And she's out there doing this stuff, and I'm like, what could make a sister stump for this woman? Don't you know we have tape of you in 2008 saying this woman shouldn't be president? Don't you realize that's still here? Like, these people act like it's all erased, Like, this is not worse. Look, I'm not a drone in Westworld, right? Like, I have a memory. I can remember 2008, and if I can't remember, I can go look it up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
To Obama, Clinton, 2008, and Google.
There it is, Michelle Obama, 2008. Yep. She said Hillary can't keep her house. Why would we want her in the White House?
Exactly.
Simple and plain. That's exactly what she said. Now, either you were a horrible human being back then, or you're a liar now. Which one is it?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hate to be a jackass, but hey, look, man, that's what you said. What did Obama say, H.A.? You probably remember better than I do. What are some things
Obama said she'll say anything and change nothing. And
so was he lying then, or is he lying now?
Well, he's lying now, obviously. If you look at the tape of Obama, this is kind of funny. This is sad and funny. If you look at the tape of Obama, and like he smiles a lot sometimes, and he has a good time, but if you look at the tape though of Obama endorsing Hillary Clinton, it is the most unhappy tape. Tim, he's like, I have never seen anyone more qualified. There's never been a person more, and you can see like inside his soul, he's unhappy. Like he doesn't want to do it.
She's Hillary's very experienced, and
exactly.
She's the best person for the job.
Exactly.
And no, where's the swag? Oh.
No, yeah.
Where's the swag we came to love, man? Because he's being forced to do it. Same thing with Michelle Obama. Same thing with many other. I saw, and I like Axelrod. I do. But when I saw him tweeting, Hillary's looking good tonight, and Hillary's doing this tonight. I'm like, Axelrod, she hated you. And she sucks, and you know it. Yeah. You have been on the campaign of probably the most inspirational candidate ever. So I know your scale has to be like this. You know what outstanding is. You know that she's nowhere near it. Come on, brother. But he's up there tweeting, oh, she's looking good tonight. Oh, she's giving Trump the business. I'm like, and this is the second debate, not the first debate, the second debate that I feel and you feel. And look, call it like we see it. That Trump won that debate, and he's still tweeting this stuff. Yeah. I'm like, there are these people. Hillary makes you lose your soul, H.A. She makes your soul. This is your soul, and Hillary just goes, "Give me your soul, give me your soul," and they are giving their soul. And you know what, H.A., I'm gonna be quiet and let you talk, man. I just want to say this.
No. I love hearing you.
They don't have to. They don't have to give their souls, H.A. I don't want to hear this crap about Comey being forced to do something, that Comey is pressured. I don't want to hear that. I've been pressured to do stuff. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I grew up in the hood, brother, where people like a lot of my friends are dead, right? So like I was pressured, won't you join this group? Won't you do this? Won't you sell this crack? Won't you do this? And I was like, nah, I think I want to be a writer one day and probably be in a jail. It'll give me a lot of time to myself, but probably not what I want to do. So like I've been pressured before. So stop making excuses for grown-ass men doing the wrong thing, giving them an out by saying they were pressured or Hillary's powerful. You know what? Seth Rich is a patriot.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't believe for a freaking second that the man was robbed. When
Two
you
shots
get robbed, HA, I've been robbed.
Yeah.
They didn't shoot me and they took my shit. Excuse my language.
Yeah. And it's 2 shots in the back of the head.
It's not like somebody walked up and they had to run. This wasn't broad daylight. This is 3 a.m. in D.C. when no one was around, no one witnessed it. It wasn't like they got startled. They were rummaging through his pockets, and they're like, oh, no, here come people. No, it was 3 a.m. on a dark street. There was no reason to run. So for the police force, and which is scary, for the police force to conclude that they think this is a robbery, that says a lot about the D.C. police. Because there are the first precursor for determining something's a robbery is something had to be taken.
Well, you know what? It's interesting. It's crazy. I wanted to tell you something about that, but now you got me. If you give me a second, I'll see if I could find it.
I'll keep talking, man, while you find it and cut me off.
Okay. No.
Yeah. You got it? Yeah.
My thing is, it was 2 shots in the back of the head.
There it is, brother. What does that sound like, AJ? What's that?
An execution. And, and my thing is, here, check this out. Telegraph, UK. I'll read this. Okay.
Back of the head, brother. Back of the head, AJ.
There was a 27-year-old who works for DNC, and it was shot in the back, murdered just a few days ago. Okay, so hold on. There's an article that talks about he was actually shot from a reputable source in the back of the head. But, I mean, this type of thing, you know what's sad, though, about a couple things? It ties in. People the mainstream doesn't like conspiracies, okay? But have you noticed, just ask anybody this. Anybody who comes after you and says, well, Tim, why'd you do this? Ask them. Hillary Clinton won every debate with Bernie Sanders and every debate with Donald Trump, according to the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Daily Beast, and Vox, and everything. She won every single debate with Bernie and with Trump, every single one.
Wow.
How does anyone do that? Even if they're the most brilliant person at debate or master.
Right.
So and then also we have things, Bill Clinton speaks to Loretta Lynch about golf and his grandchildren. All this stuff. Comey couldn't find intent because we don't really know she wanted to hide. Then when they do cheat, like they overtly cheat, it's that's just part of the rules. And more people voted. Yeah, more people voted because the DNC was pulling for Hillary. And then they're like, well, you don't know if the media coverage. Well, now we know from the WikiLeaks, the media coverage was all. So, Tim, man, I got to tell you, you are the best. You're the
best, HA. You're the best, man. You get a lot of hate. You don't just, I get like stragglers. You get like armies of haters.
You know what's funny though? They're so tired of hating. They've actually they've run out of steam. They run out of steam.
They punch themselves out.
Yeah, because on one of my segments, I said this, Tim. Correct the record. They spend $1 million trolling, and I said between me and Tim Black, we spent at least $300,000 of their money.
Oh, yes.
Because at least $300,000 because they spent $1 million between us. Yeah. How many trolls have you dealt with? How many trolls have I dealt with?
Unbelievable.
But thank you, Tim. I look forward to next week, man.
Thank you, man. It was a great show. Tell these people, man, because I always must remember we may have new viewers who don't know where to find you.
Thank you.
Let them know.
On YouTube, H.A. Goodman. And I have a really cool article coming out, Tim, with Walker Bragman. And it's coming out tomorrow. And it's talking about quote unquote Russia's influence in our democracy. And it's going to be very interesting. And basically saying, hey, if they're exposing corruption, thanks. Thanks for helping out. But thank you so much. It's in Paste, coming out in Paste magazine tomorrow, and with Walker Bragman and Tim.
Hey,
next
man.
week, I can't wait till next week.
You got it, man. Look, guys, go find H.A. Goodman on YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel, H.A. Goodman. Go to his website, hagoodman.com. Find him on Twitter, H.A. Goodman Author, and Facebook, H.A. Goodman.
Thank you, Tim.
You got it, brother. Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you.
Wow. Look, guys, I'm pumped up. I hope you're pumped up. The truth is coming out, and it's undeniable, right? Like H.A. says, they said that we were conspiracy theorists. They said we were crazy, because we didn't have evidence. Now that we have evidence, they say, well, it came from the Russians. You can't win with these people because they don't want you to win. When Robert Rice said that the DNC tilted the scale in the favor of Hillary Clinton, he was wrong. They didn't tilt the scale. They loosened the bolts. They took the scale top off. They threw it against the wall. They bounced it. They put it back on. Then they sat on it. I don't know. They did some horrific stuff to that scale. That scale, you don't want your food from that market. That deli is suspect. So look, I call it like I see it, right? My job at this point is to wake people up to this obvious corruption. It's no longer reaching. It's all here. It's all factual. I have document after document, story after story, leak after leak, and no one's questioning. Once again, guys, no one's questioning if the leaks are accurate, if the leaks are true. They're just trying to defame the source of the leaks. And we are all thinking people. If I told you your house was going to burn down, you wouldn't ask me how'd I know. You just want to know if I was sure. And if I said, yes, I'm sure, and if you know that information is right, you don't care much about me. You just want the information that'll save your house. And that's what we're trying to do, and that's what WikiLeaks is trying to do. I support it. I know you do too. Do me a favor, guys. Follow me on Twitter at RealTimBlack. Go to my website, timblacktv.com, where I have links to everything. So just become a part of it. My goal at this juncture is to expose truth, but also to broaden the election, to broaden the discussion, to help get a third party. I want them to get financing. I want them to be able to get federal funding next election, so we're never stuck with just two candidates. And you know what? And I want Gary Johnson to get it too, because I think the more options, the better. That's what I believe. The enemy of your enemy is your friend. And we need as many friends as we can have. I'm Tim Black, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time. And like I always say, don't you let nobody take your cornbread.
We have crooked Hillary, fuck.
It is what it is. Shout out to my team for making it happen. G. Sass, Nicola Wango, Malika Rogers, my man Momo Pineno, my moderators in the chat room, Liberty Not a License When I Rap, Momo Pineno, my friend 64 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, Justin, and everyone else who volunteers, including Kate Loving, who support what I do. Shout out to the real progressives. We are out of here.